wow. Oh, this is gonna be a weird. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Anyhow, yesterday I got this in the mail, and I'd been listening to it on an audiobook, but I just wasn't enjoying it. I don't think necessarily the audiobook was bad, but I wasn't liking it, and my decision to buy the physical book and read the physical book was, yeah. So I finished it early in the day. An exhilarating, destabilizing novel that asks whether we ever really know the people we love. Two people meet for lunch in a Manhattan restaurant. She's an accomplished actress in rehearsals for an upcoming premiere. He's attractive, troubling, young enough to be her son. Who is he to her, and who is she to him? In this compulsively readable, brilliantly constructed novel, two competing narratives unspool. Note that. Rewiring our understanding of the roles we play every day, partner, parent, creator, muse, and the truth every performance masks, especially from those who think they know us most intimately. Taut and hypnotic Audition is Katie Kitamura at her virtuous best. Okay, so I'm gonna be real. When I first finished this, I was like, I'm intending to give this as a gift to someone, and I was like, I don't know if I can give this to this person, because I just feel like, I honestly was like, this is awful. But I think that is actually intentional now that I've sat with it a little bit. The writing of this almost feels, I don't want to say thriller, horror, but like, it makes you uncomfortable. Like, if any of you guys have watched, this is not a great thing, there's a movie called Dogtooth, by Yargos something. There's a scene that makes me think of that, but specifically just the sort of absurdity and like the way that the characters are directed and written just makes you feel uncomfortable, and that's sort of what this book does. It's in 2 parts, and that was not something that I was like, I know from the first page where it says part 1, but the 2 parts are like drastically different point of views. Honestly, me giving I don't want to say this is a book review, I guess it is. I do recommend it though. I think everyone should read it. The synopsis is sort of, it feels vague or it feels too much, but after reading the book and reading the synopsis, it really makes sense. It is destabilizing. It makes you just that's pretty much what I feel about this book. Yeah, when I first finished it, I was like, I hate this. This is like 2.5 stars. But I think anyone after reading this should read an article or listen to a interview and just try and gain some understanding of it. It just is really kind of eerie. It's set in New York, Manhattan, yeah. But think of like, okay, this is the picture I want to paint. Manhattan, autumn winter vibe, a nice apartment, but like kind of middle-aged boring. Think American Psycho, but not. And then picture like a theater. If any of you guys have read Station 11. Like, the first scene in that is like the vibe of this book. God, it's so odd. I underline a few things, which I was being mindful, I will say, of the things that I underlined or noted down because I am trying to recommend this to someone. Also, I do want to know that the pacing of it and the layout of it did kind of trip me up initially. Like, we go from a meeting into a restaurant, and then we go to how these two characters meet, and then we're back, another scene with them in present, and then it goes into the future, or like it continues the story from that point on. So it's like their first meeting isn't necessarily them meeting after everything has happened. It's just a meeting in the middle of everything. But yeah, anyway, he was still smiling. From the start, I had noted his natural charm, his charisma, but now I saw that he dispense it too with a free hand. He didn't seem to understand the intensity of his effect, or the fact that he moved through a world inhabited by other people. In this sense, especially, he was still very young. I don't know, there's a few things that I really liked. I had a natural inclination to press my face against the glass to peer at the mystery of other people, but also I had an instinct for self-preservation. He continued to cram nuts into his mouth, and I thought that he must have been really hungry. He ate with a gusto. It was not in and of itself off-putting. It was simply a man eating, and yet I recoiled. Something in the crunching movement of his jaw was alien. It was briefly the face of someone who thought he was alone. To me, part 2 is sort of like a mirror of all the characters, and they're sort of trying on each other's faces and each other's flaws, and it's just like, it's very... Part 2 is where the horror begins, where everything just feels uncomfortable to read. And not that it wasn't not that it wasn't unenjoyable to read. Like, I would find myself reading and laughing at absurdity, or like mouth agape, and closing it and then just like not knowing what else to do, and so simply just picking it back up and reading it. God, if you like, this is definitely more of like a, I don't want to say gothic, but I feel like it definitely falls into that like gothic genre of like a lot of books that are coming out recently, like in the realm of like Bunny and like the Secret History. Well, Secret History is old, but in the realm of like that, like Hungerstone is another book that sort of has like the same sort of like gothic energy, but it's not explicit. Like with that book, for example, it's set in like a house, a gothic house in the English countryside. This is not. I think it's just the way the atmosphere is written and the way these characters are written and are being perceived is written in a way that feels gothic, in a modern sense, I guess. Oh, it's good. I did like it. Shit, I did like it. I am gonna give this to the person that I'm recommending it to. On another note, the book that I'm moving on to next. Okay. I'm jumping in here, editing. I just wanted to say, I feel like the person who would enjoy this book is a middle-aged mother. And that's not to be like it's bad, or those sort of women I don't know, I feel like when you say a book is like by a middle-aged mother, it's like but I do think a lot of this book, it's been a couple weeks, probably even a month since I read it, but I think there's a lot of quotes and a lot of discussions, especially like about motherhood and abortion, which I think that a lot of mothers would really relate to and really enjoy and find comfort in, especially sort of the unknown of how to traverse these relationships with men and your husband, and then also other women and younger men, and growing older as a woman. So those are the things that I really liked about this book. I feel like if I were to come back and read it as a middle-aged woman who is possibly married and maybe has children, I might like it a little bit more. But yeah. Dark Age by Pierce Brown. I've been sitting on this one for a minute. I finished Iron Gold maybe 2 months ago, and I just wanted the physical copy of this and I couldn't find it. But loving this, I will say. Iron Gold obviously was a bit of a mess. It honestly took me like 5 months to get through Iron Gold, which I know is mental, but the war scenes in this are freaking phenomenal. I'm on part 2, which is a lot of Virginia's POV, Ephraim's POV. I wasn't enjoying it as much, and I think that was because I wanted to multitask, and so I put the audiobook on, and it was the beginning of the second part and I just kind of blanked everything out. But now that I've been actually reading the last few chapters of this part, I've enjoyed it. So this book, honestly, my recommendation for reading books like this, like sort of war sci-fi, it's all sci-fi war based. I don't know, I haven't read much. The only sci-fi I've read really was the rest of the series, and then Project Hail Mary. My recommendation is Succession Studios and Go on the Treadmill at the gym, and like not just to like get cardio in, but like if you go on the treadmill with that kind of music in, then it like paces and stuff, you'll feel like you're in the fight, and it is the funnest thing ever, because sometimes it can be a little bit arduous to get through when yeah, it's just do that. But yeah, these are the reads as of October, -1, which was Second Place by Rachel Cusk, which is also pretty good.